Hey, what is up everyone? So this is Sukanto Roy and you are watching Coding with Roy. So welcome to the Python interview question series. This is the 9th video of the series. If you have not been following this particular playlist, then I will leave the link in the card and in the description. Do check it out. We are covering some of the most popular Python interview question in great details. Timestamps as always will be in the description. So if you want to skip to a specific part of the video, feel free to do so. So today's question is, what is monkey patching in Python? It certainly falls in the advanced side of things. If you want to understand what monkey patching is, you'll first have to understand how functions are treated in Python. If you don't know anything about that particular topic or you don't have that much of clarity, don't worry, we are going to discuss it in some detail in this particular video and you should not be left behind. So with that being said, what is monkey patching? So in Python, the term monkey patching refers to dynamic or runtime modification of a class or module. So in basic terms, what monkey patching is that in runtime, you are changing a particular code in a way that it behaves differently. So that is it. But you say runtime modification? Isn't it that in runtime, you cannot do any modification so that the code changes? No, in Python, we can actually change the behavior of a code at runtime. Because Python is an interpreted language, we can certainly change the behavior of a code at runtime. How we are going to see in the upcoming section where we are going to show the code example. So if all of this sound cryptic to you, then let's see a code example to better understand what monkey patching is. We will also see it in action. So in VS Code, we have two files, a.py and test.py. And they are in the same package. They don't have to be in the same package. In this particular example, I have made it in the same package. Okay. So in a.py, I will create a function power, a class power. And in that class, we are going to have one particular method, that is square. What square is going to do is, it is very evident from the name, it is going to take a number and it is going to return the square of that number as an output. So this is the basic functionality of this particular class. It contains a function that is square, and that square takes a argument number and then it returns the square of the number. Now let's go to the test.py and imagine we have this a.py and imagine we are importing this in test.py, and here also we have a function called cube. What this cube is going to do is, it is going to take similarly a number and then it is going to return me the cube of the number. Just as square returns square of a number, cube is going to return cube of a number. So to make it evident, let's also let's say it is doing something like this. Square of the number is, and then we are going to print the square of the number. Okay, so this is it. And similar thing we are going to do in the cube of a number. But here, instead of square, we are going to say cube, and instead of returning a square, we are going to return the cube. It is going to just return this. And now what we are going to do is, we are going to, this is the monkey patching part. So what we are going to do is, we are going to access A, which is this particular file, and from that we are going to pick up the class where the function is defined. Now remember, you don't have to, it necessarily does not have to be inside a class for this monkey patching to take place. But as it is here, the main purpose is we will have to go to this square. So how we are going to go is, we are going to access A, and inside of that we are going to access power and then square, and we are going to map it to the cube function. We are going to assign the cube function in the square variable. So remember, now here comes the part where you have to understand how functions are treated in Python. So in Python, functions are treated as first class citizens. What first class citizens mean is that in Python, everything is an object, including functions as well. When you are creating a function, Python internally creates an object of type function, and in that object it has all this implementation. And this, what this square internally holds is, it holds the reference ID of that object. So this square is holding the ID where this particular implementation will be there. Okay. So this is how we can do this particular thing, where we are assigning cube, which is a function, to the square variable, because the square variable contains an ID of an object, and this cube is also having an ID of an object. So what we basically do is we basically are adding this particular cube's address to square. You will see, you will get a better understanding when we are going to run this particular thing. Now see, we are going to create an object. This object is going to be of a.power. It is going to be an instance of this power class, and here we are just going to call this square function and say we are going to give 3. Now what should happen? Now basically first let's remove this particular line and see what is happening. Now if we run this particular example, what will happen? This 3 is going to get passed to this square function and we are going to get 9, right? Remember, I have removed this particular line which does monkey patching. So see, let's see this particular thing. So see, the square of a number is 9. Now if we uncomment this and then we are assigning this cube to the square function, now see what happens. The cube of a number is 27. So what just happened? We are accessing the square function, but we are getting the output of the cube function. How it is happening? Again, in Python, everything is an object, including functions as well. So this cube function is holding the reference ID of the object which has this implementation, and the square function is holding the reference ID which includes this particular implementation. When we are doing monkey patching, we are replacing this particular reference with this particular reference. So that is all. This is how monkey patching works. Now as we have understood how monkey patching works, let's first understand why monkey patching was introduced. What are the advantages and disadvantages of monkey patching? So see, the advantage of monkey patching in real world is we can use it to extend or modify the functionality of an existing class. So the assumption here is that we don't have access to this original class. Say we are using an external library. We can change the functionality or extend the functionality of that library using this monkey patching technique. So a real world example was given in this particular thread. Let me take you to that. So see, so there is a package named G-Event. What it does is it internally uses monkey patching to change the implementation of the socket module we have in Python. So that is basically how we can use it in, say, real world example. And one more thing, how we can use this particular monkey patching technique is we can use it in a unit testing environment. Say for example, in your source code, when you are using that in a production environment, you are using PostgreSQL database. And when you are unit testing, you need something like a SQLite database. Okay. Or something similar of that sort, where in production environment, you need something different. You need to access a large amount of data, but for unit testing, you don't need that amount of data. So what you can do is, a lot of people does is they use monkey patching in the unit testing files. They use monkey patching to change the behavior of some of the code examples in such a way that it is more suitable for testing. But this is not a general practice. I'll tell you the disadvantages, and in that case you will understand why monkey patching should be avoided in some of the cases. Okay, so as we have understood what are the uses or some of advantages of monkey patching, let's understand what is the disadvantage of it. So the disadvantage is mainly it is considered a bad practice. Why? Imagine a situation where a particular developer has written a monkey patched code. Okay, and what is internally happening is what you are seeing in the source code is not how the whole code is reacting. So you see in this particular example, we are calling, say, it is a large program and we have a square function, but in one part of the program you are calling the square function but getting the cube function's output. Now it is very clear to someone who has written the code. As I have written the code, I know that I have written a monkey patched code. That is why I am getting the output of a cube. But say we are working as a team, there are 10-15 people and it is a large code base. So is it very prominent that in some place of the code we are using a monkey patched version using which there is a bug in another part of the code and there is a whole mess? So this is a problem that can arise using the monkey patching technique. It creates a discrepancy between the original code on the disk and the observed behavior. So that is why it is not more commonly used in large projects. So that's it for the video. We have discussed what monkey patching is, why is it used, how is it used, some examples, and the advantages and disadvantages of monkey patching. Thank you very much. Please do like, comment and subscribe for more of this content. And if you have any specific questions you want me to cover, please leave them in the comment so that I can pick them in the upcoming videos. Thank you. Bye.